Oh yes, LD. It's that time of the week. The AT&T Fan Connection. Everyone loves this. We love it, but you know who else loves it? Jordan, because she gets to have airtime.
And
Welcome
she
in,
is going to
Jordan.
be
Oh
insufferable today
God.
after the Liverpool
God, she's one of
celebrations.
those. She's one of those quote unquote Liverpool fans. You know the ones. You
I
never
know
heard of it.
them. I
Never heard of
know
it. And then they win the
them.
title.
I
And you're like,
know
oh,
them.
Liverpool
I'm
fan.
a
That is
fan.
so, excuse me, do you not see this 2018 jersey in the background right now?
Yeah,
Excuse
yeah.
me.
Until you
Congratulations,
get a
by the way.
tat. Until you get a tat of Liverpool, I won't believe it.
I have a plan for one.
Yeah,
So
you
we
should.
can
But
talk about it
by
later.
the way, I'm say thank you to me. Say thank you.
Thank you, Tim Howard.
I am a man of the people. Landon, you know that. And for everyone that thinks I'm a bad guy,
And I am the people in this story, for the
there
record.
are a lot of people out there. I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy. I'll tell you why. Two things happen. Mo Salah, we were at the desk and we're getting ready to wrap up. Mo Salah comes out with like every award. He got the Premier League trophy. He's got like 3 golden boots. He's got like another Premier League Player of the Year award. And he sets it down.
Playmaker of the year.
Playmaker of the year. Anyway, he sets it down. He goes take a picture, and I'm like, I won't be caught dead taking a picture of Mo Salah right now. And sure enough, you know what pops in my mind? Jordan. And I was like, Tim, swallow your pride and go over there and take a picture and send it to Jordan. I then deleted the picture, obviously, because I can't have that on my phone. I sent it to Jordan. And then someone else gave me something small but really nice to commemorate the day. And I looked at him. I was like, hell am I going to do with this? It's a piece of Liverpool.
Thought of JR.
And I was like, okay, I can either put it in my patio fire, which I wouldn't do because it's disrespectful, or I could give it to JR. So I'm going to send it to her. There you go. You're welcome.
Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.
You know what's really funny? I was with a bunch of friends, and one of them was on their phone looking at like the Liverpool Instagram, and they were like, "Look at this great picture of Mo Salah." And I literally turned my phone around and was like, "That's so weird."
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's all I gotta say.
That's awesome.
Oh God.
Okay, well, this is not actually about me or Liverpool.
So
it's about the people who listen to and watch the show who have questions for you guys. So let's get into some of those, shall we?
All right.
Yeah.
This one is from Steven via email. Last week you mentioned that Atlanta United would have been better spending $5 million on 4 or 5 proven MLS players instead of the $22 million they spent on Emmanuel Latte Lath. While I don't disagree, I'm wondering how this is possible under the current MLS roster rules. To my knowledge, a $5 million transfer fee would make a player a DP, and each MLS team is only allowed a maximum of 3 DPs.
Yeah. Sorry, I was hypothetically saying that. It's a great question. Let's if we could scrap the rules, create a salary cap, and then maybe create a luxury tax above the salary cap. I felt like that would be a way to do that. But that was somewhat hypothetical when I was explaining it. I thought I might have said that, but if I didn't, I'm sorry.
Who asked the question, Jordan?
Steven,
great question. What I want to do, we've been wanting to do this for a long time, is get someone on who can actually explain these things, because I don't have, all I know now is that you can make internal transfers. Joveljic went from the Galaxy to Kansas City. Other players have moved. Evander went from Portland to Columbus. You can make internal transfers now. I don't know if you spend $5 million on the transfer but only pay a guy $600,000, does he still count as a DP or not? I don't know the rules behind that. It might be that you're allowed to and he's not a DP, or it might be that $5 million gets factored into it. So I don't know the exact rules. What I would say to Steven is there are creative ways, lots of ways, so that you can have, let's instead of saying 3 or 4 players at $5 million each, you could sign 10 players at $500,000 each.
Sure.
Right? Instead, or $600,000 each. And that would make your roster much better. So, and sorry, Evander went to FC Cincinnati, not Columbus. It's all the same. That Ohio, it's all the same. So that's, we will have someone on at some point to explain that, because we get confused by it and we lived it. So
yeah, look, and Steven, sorry, and I made my point hypothetically. Landon made a much more poignant point about like another way around it. The fact of the matter is, Landon and I both wholeheartedly believe that you're better served, instead of taking $20 million and trying to scour the globe for a player. We think you're better served at slicing that down into smaller portions and getting more players. It's been tested. It's been tried and tested.
Premier League question here. This one's from Dan via Instagram. How much longer do you think Manchester United should hold on to Ruben Amorim before they sack him? Although the players are not performing, you need a coach who can bring out the best in you.
I mean, not for a long time, in my opinion. You have to give him time. If they knew, I promise you, they knew that this season was going to be a wash. They did. And so if they start next season and they're down near the bottom again and they're 10 games in or 12 games in or 15 games in, maybe you think about it, but he needs time. He needs his players and he needs time. It's simple as that.
So I'm running a list of managers since Sir Alex Ferguson: Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, Solskjaer.
Ten Hag.
There was a guy in between Ten Hag. What was his name? Ralph Rangnick.
Yeah.
Ten Hag. And
Robin Van Persie interim.
No, Van Nistelrooy interim.
I mean, Van Nistelrooy.
And now Amorim. Amorim.
Yeah.
Amorim's the right guy for the job. The problem with United since Sir Alex Ferguson left was it's been a hire fire culture. It's been a disconnect between what players the manager wants and styles and chief execs and who was making decisions above the manager. Was it director of football? It's been a mess. It's been a mess at Manchester United. Now they're starting to have this kind of like vertical decision-making process with Omar Barada and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, since he took over footballing operations from the Glazers with his 25%. So like, this needs time. I don't care what anyone says. Oh yeah, but how much time? It needs time. Ruben Amorim, by the way, didn't want to take the job in January because he knew that this was not good. Now he had to take it because of Manchester United. You have to take the job when you can't just pass it. But I think, and I would say, I would sympathize with people who say like, you just can't come in and be worse. You got to figure something. You got to figure out a way to get results. Like I get that. So I would certainly argue that. But ultimately, this squad needs to be completely stripped down. I don't think there's a lot of talented players. Certainly not for Manchester United to get them to the next level where they want to be competing for Premier League titles and being in the Champions League every single year. So that and PSR, by the way, has stopped that. Profit and sustainability rules has stopped that. So this is going to take 18 months to 24 months. You hope that they get enough through the door this year where they can compete for a European place next year, a la Chelsea. Maybe. Like Chelsea was like, oh, we got a bunch of young kids. We don't know who we are yet, but like, can we get there? So Chelsea are nowhere near the finished article, but they qualified for Champions League. So I think you're still looking at 18 months to 2 years.
I have a follow-up question about Manchester United because I was thinking about this over the weekend. So we've seen what happened with Marcus Rashford. He goes on loan to Aston Villa and does pretty decently for himself over there. Yep. So who knows what was happening between him and the club while he was still supposedly playing for Manchester United. Then it comes out this weekend that apparently Amorim has told Garnacho to basically take a hike, right? So I know there's questions about like, do certain players you need to get rid of just because they're not going to play the kind of football you want to play? Obviously PSR becomes a part of the discussion as well. But like, at what point is it just seems strange that this is all coming out in the press? Like, is it a leak thing? Yeah. Is it like somebody should be saying, maybe let's keep that internally? Because I don't think it makes him look good that he's telling these players to bugger off and then they go somewhere and do really well somewhere else.
We don't know the truth behind any of it, Jordan. We don't know the context. And, agents are constantly talking to, and they're trying to make their player look good and all that. So I don't even listen to that stuff. The reality is when you have a new coach coming into a new team, there are going to be a number of players who just don't fit for whatever reason. Yeah. Could be soccer. It could be their attitude. It could be the way you interact with them. It could be how they are in the locker room. It could be at the end of their contract. There's a million reasons, and you just got to get rid of them immediately. And it's not easy to get rid of them fast, but I'm sure he has a list. These 5-7 guys got to be gone. These ones we want to extend. I was sitting with David Moyes when I was at Everton, and he said to me, he's like, there's about 5 or 7 guys that just have to go. Sure. Right. He had to get through the season with them. And he said, these other 5 guys, we want to give them contract extensions and then we got to go find 5 or 7. Yeah. So like they know exactly how that is going to play out in their head. And it's going to come out because, people are just going to make stuff up and agents will say what they need to say. And so I would just disregard it.
Yeah. I just think the thing is the agents, and once you tell a player he's surplus to requirements, he's got no loyalty to you. He'll drop little innuendos on social media. The agent will talk. I mean, look, ultimately, I think I'll be corrected here at some point, but I think Garnacho counts as a homegrown player. I think, which means for PSR, they'll get a full profit for him when they sell him on. The only player within that team that I think can play in another top 6 team is Bruno Fernandes, and quite frankly, he's probably wasted away his best years or some of his best years. And so Saudi, I think there's an opportunity in the deal on table to go to Saudi. So he's probably thinking,
Take the money.
let's go, take the money, and the club should do that as well. So it's not always straightforward and by the book. So there's a lot of information that you also don't know.
Here's a question from Carlton via Instagram. While Newcastle have had a great season, winning their first trophy in some time, I felt that their season was filled with loads of ups and downs. How or what can be done to improve on this for next season?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with the ups and downs. Eddie Howe at one point was hospitalized for quite a number of weeks. They have dealt with a ton of injuries, which again isn't an excuse. Every team does that, but they finished the season incredibly strong. They won a cup in the EFL League Cup, and they finished in the Champions League place. Ups and downs, yeah. I don't know. I think every club goes to that, but I think for Newcastle, it was a very successful season, one that they can build on, because I do think Champions League football has kept Isak at the club. I think if they finish 6th, he leaves because his price tag is so high. So I think they've done that. That allows them to get the windfall of money and add bigger, better players. It sounds like they might be going after James Trafford from Burnley, the goalkeeper. So they're going to make big signings. I know they got a $70 million fee for Mark Gahey last year at Crystal Palace, knocked back. So they'll probably be in for a center back. They're going to build and they're going to strengthen. So I'm not sure I agree with the ups and downs of this year. I would say it's a successful season.
I think people forget, Jordan, how hard that league is. And so when you say ups and downs, like if you get a Chelsea away, City home, even Tottenham away, which is a 17th place club, it's like that's a tough run. You could lose 3 games, right? And so it's just a hard league.
I mean, half the league is playing in European football next year.
That's right. That's right. And the top 2 of the top
strength of the league
teams historically are 16th and 17th.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just tough.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we're going to be off for the next 2 weeks from the show, which is weird to even think about. So I have a question for you guys, for some of our fans to maybe think about in those 2 weeks while we are off. So I'm sure you guys have seen it too. There's a lot of memes that come out after the Premier League is over, is like, oh, suddenly my partner is so excited that we'll be able to do things on the weekend because I won't be sat in front of my TV watching the Premier League. For the American fans who listen to the show who are fans of a Premier League side, what would you like to see them focus on over the summer until their Premier League club comes back in August?
That's a great question. Okay, I got a few things.
I want them to breathe.
Oh, Tim doesn't care. You want them to what? Breathe.
I want them to breathe. This is going to come thick and fast. Your team is at some point going to start releasing players, selling players, buying them. The fixture list for next year is going to come out soon enough. Just give yourself a chance to breathe. I got nothing other than that.
I would say first, support your local team. Make an effort to go. It's not going to be like watching the Premier League. So whether it's an MLS team or a USL team or an NWSL team, go support that, because supporting soccer helps everyone. I'm not sure I can in good conscience right now tell them to support the Gold Cup team because I don't know what that's going to look like.
More, yeah.
I mean, but we're all going to watch, right? We're disappointed, but we're all going to watch. We're going to be paying attention. I'm going to be covering it. So I'm going to be invested, but watch the Gold Cup team, watch the women's national team. And then I also think, and people probably disagree with me on this, but I am genuinely excited to watch the Club World Cup. I don't know, Tim, you probably disagree. I don't know how many players are really going to care about it initially, but I think once you get into it and you're playing these different teams and the crowds are there, and I think it's going to be exciting. So I am going to be paying attention to that quite a bit. And my kids are going to be off at camp, so I do not have to babysit. Let's go.
When you have kids, it's not babysitting; it's actually parenting.
No, it's babysitting.
But I agree with you. It's daddy daycare. When you have the kids, it's daddy daycare. It's just the way it works.
It's definitely babysitting. So that's it.
Well, they have 2 weeks to get their questions in about Gold Cup and
Oh,
Club
man, I
World
can't
Cup
wait.
and whatever transfer window nonsense is going on with their Premier League team. But we'll be back on the 17th of June.
Can I just
So-
drop something in there, Jordan? Like, I know Landon has mentioned, like, make sure you send us comments. This is important. Like, don't hold back, good or bad. Like, this is going to be pretty polarizing stuff, the Gold Cup, with
Mhm.
players missing. How do we perform? Like, just send us, like, no holds barred, anything, no filter. This is unfiltered. Just give us your honest assessment, even with the conversation that we had today. Like, it's really interesting. We're incredibly passionate about it. We know you are too. So make sure you send us your
And
comments.
by the way, some of the best like recollections and stories come from the comments or from the questions you guys ask. So you actually get some of the best feedback because it's things we hadn't even thought about until you send them. So just send them. Even there's no dumb question, a lot of dumb comments, but no dumb question.
Just be nice to me because I have to read them all and decide which ones get on the show.
Yeah,
So be
yeah,
nice
that's
to the producer and be sassy to the host. That's
Totally.
my advice.
Yeah, you don't need to be
All
nice to me.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Jordan.
it.
Thanks, JR.